You felt it at the gas pump. You felt it at the grocery store. And now you're about to feel it in your paycheck, your retirement account, and your tax bill. The U.S.-Israel war on Iran started just 3 weeks ago, and the economic damage is already hitting every single American. And the worst part? Most people have no idea how bad it's getting. Let's break it all down. Let's start with the most visible hit, gasoline. Before the war started, gas was averaging $2.98 a gallon. Within days of the first strikes, it jumped to $3.48, a 50-cent surge almost overnight. And that's just the beginning. Here's why this happened so fast. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, and that strait carries 20% of the world's daily oil supply. Overnight, that oil was gone from the global market. At the same time, Iran's retaliatory strikes hit Saudi Arabia's largest oil refinery and Qatar's export facilities, sending oil prices up 15% to $83 a barrel by early March. Gasoline prices in the U.S. rose more than 7% in just days, surging above $4 a gallon for the first time since late 2023. Now, here's the scary threshold you need to know about. Economists say the recession trigger points are oil at $125 a barrel, gas at $4.25 a gallon, and inflation hitting 4% a year. We are already at $4 gas. We're not far from the others. And every single $10 increase in oil prices costs the typical American household close to an extra $450 a year. That's money coming right out of your pocket, for a war happening thousands of miles away. But it's not just the gas pump. It's your home, too. Mortgage rates, which were at 5.99% the day before the war started, have already climbed to 6.29% as of mid-March. That's in just 2 weeks. Here's why. Higher oil prices mean inflation stays stickier, which makes it harder for the Fed to cut interest rates. And that means mortgage rates could be stuck at their current levels or go even higher. So if you were hoping to buy a home this year, or refinance, this war just made that harder. And here's a detail almost nobody is talking about. The Gulf supplies 45% of the world's sulfur. Sulfur is used in fertilizers, in the copper industry, and in manufacturing semiconductors. We're talking about ripple effects that will hit industries across the entire American economy, from farming to tech. Now let's talk about your grocery bill, because this is the part that should alarm you most. The Red Sea was already mostly closed in 2025 due to Houthi attacks, and it was expected to finally reopen this year, which could have lowered consumer prices. That's now off the table. The Red Sea will likely stay closed throughout 2026. And oil byproducts from the Gulf go directly into consumer goods, plastics, pharmaceuticals, and fertilizers. Those fertilizers are needed right now for spring planting. Delays could affect crop yields this fall. The war overseas could mean empty shelves or sharply higher food prices by the end of 2026. And it gets worse. Economists are warning this could tip the U.S. into stagflation, high inflation and high unemployment at the same time. The nightmare combination that plagued Americans in the 1970s. The Fed can't fight both at once. If they raise rates to fight inflation, they kill jobs. If they cut rates to save jobs, inflation explodes. There is no easy way out of this, and lower-income Americans will pay the price the hardest. Now for the number that should make every American furious, regardless of your politics. Trump administration officials told Congress that just the first 6 days of the Iran war cost the United States roughly $11.3 billion. 6 days. $11.3 billion. Some analysts put the ongoing cost at around $1 billion per day. And now, the Pentagon has asked Congress for an additional $200 billion to pay for this war. Let that sink in. $200 billion. That money could instead cover Medicaid for millions of Americans. It could cover food assistance for tens of millions of families. But instead, we're told there's nothing left for healthcare, housing, or groceries, while the bombs keep dropping. Here's the final piece. And this one could affect your job. The U.S. economy was already under pressure heading into this war, dealing with on and off tariffs, weak hiring, and lingering inflation. A longer war that pushes oil past $100 a barrel would worsen inflation while slowing growth. Economists have pointed to 1973, 1978, and 2008 as evidence that every major oil price spike has been followed by a global recession. We are watching that same pattern begin, right now. The longer this war lasts, the greater the danger. This war is 3 weeks old, and it is already costing every American at the gas pump, at the grocery store, at the mortgage office, and on their tax bill. And based on every historical precedent, the longer it goes, the worse it gets. The question isn't whether this is your problem. It already is. The question is whether anyone in Washington is listening. Drop a comm.